I'm joined by the Vice President of Flint City Council, Candace Mashat, also our Finance Chair, Judy Priestley, and also Pastor Hicks and his wife is going to be joining us here, talking about being proactive and engaging what could happen, the potential of what could happen here. 1 out of every 3 residents inside the city of Flint is receiving some level of SNAP benefits. You know, starting tomorrow, families may experience some delays with their benefits because of the federal shutdown. This is not because of our nation having not enough dollars or not enough money to provide for our most vulnerable. It's because of a level of impasse. Political pollution has engaged our nation and now is locking the hands for us to be able to take care of our most vulnerable residents. But here in the city of Flint, we are proactively engaging, making sure that we can lessening the blow for those individuals here in the city of Flint. We're working with our partners here, the Food Bank of Eastern Michigan, also Love Faith Center, and other faith-based organizations to make sure that we can put an infrastructure in place to be able to help support those residents that may be negatively impacted. Now, as mayor and as city council people, we are hyper-focused on our residency here inside the city of Flint. Though Genesee County will be definitely heavily hit as well. We talk about 500,000 children inside the state of Michigan will be impacted. 13% of the residents will be impacted inside the state of Michigan. This gridlock, Republican, Democrat, rich or poor, cannot paralyze our nation. Gandhi said the worst form of violence is poverty. And now violence is being impacted upon our residents. So we stand collectively here to say that we're working on a program here inside the city of Flint, a voucher program. A voucher much like the one here will be produced here. Working through the matrix of what was going to happen. Vouchers will be given to residents, Flint residents here in the city of Flint that already are on SNAP benefits. And also those disconnected workers from the federal government. Once they receive this voucher, they can take this voucher to the Eastern Michigan Food Bank here or Love Faith Temple and any of our new partners that's going to be coming online to be able to redeem some food. We're looking at doing this twice a week. The resources that we're putting forth is not coming from our tax base and our general tax base here in the city of Flint. We were at this impasse once before when we looked at the Job Corps being shut down throughout our country. Flint went into action, putting together resources so those individuals that were going to be displaced was not going to be catapulted into homelessness. We put resources to bear in that category. We never had to use them, so therefore we're shifting those resources from our American Rescue Plan dollars and also our opioid settlement dollars in a category that we can apply to our people, meaning that our general overall treasury will not be impacted by the level of support that we're engaging for these impacted residents inside the city of Flint. You know, when we look at these things, you know, we have to be inspired by those leaders of the past. Coretta Scott King said, "The greatness of a community is most accurately measured by the compassionate actions of its members." These are compassionate actions that we're engaging in. And we would like all like-minded and like thinkers to be aware of what's going on. There will be food boxes set up here inside of City Hall for donations. A table will be placed here. If anyone want to come down to City Hall to be able to place food here for those residents that could be negatively impacted as a byproduct of what's going on, you're welcome to bring it here. But definitely, as we continue to monitor what is going on in the federal government and also our state of Michigan, we're looking at what's happening. We know that legal action is being taken right now against the federal government as it relates to these shutdowns. We know that the state of Michigan is proposing some $90 million to be placed into action to be able to support these residents. But definitely here in the city of Flint, proactive engagement and planning is being done to make sure residents of the city of Flint that have SNAP benefits that will be disconnected, and also those federal employees that has been disconnected from work will have an opportunity to still get some of the resources that they desperately need. I now give it to our City Council Vice President, Candace Mashat, for a few more comments.
Thank you. Good morning. While we are standing here from the city of Flint standpoint for a good reason, as in providing help to some of our most vulnerable residents, we want to make it clear that our hearts do go out to the millions of Americans who will not know how they are going to feed their families. And I'm going to say, on a personal note, from me, the same way that I felt when City Council was failing to move and do what we were supposed to do is the same way I feel when it comes to Congress. I urge Congress to go back to work, to continue working for the American people, because that's what they were voted in to do. But I strongly believe that Congress should not be getting paid while they are not at work, in the same way I believed that City Council should not be getting paid when we were failing to do our jobs. I am proud to stand here today with the mayor, who has been very forward-thinking and making sure that Flint residents will be taken care of. One day is one day too many for a child to go hungry. So in partnership with the food bank and also Christian Love Faith Center and other entities, the city of Flint will make sure that we take care of the city of Flint, who are residents who are at risk of losing their SNAP benefits.
We are also joined by 3rd Ward Councilperson LaShawn Johnson here today as well. Now, this has been a complex piece that we've been trying to put together, and the logistics have not been easy. I call it the penalties of the first, meaning that this is the first time that any municipality has engaged in this level of help for their residents in this way. When federal dollars are held up or state dollars will not come, local municipalities, villages, and townships, much like Flint, has to step up. So as we work through the logistics of this program, we ask that we be very kind in the way that we treat these residents that we're coming in to be able to receive some level of help and support. As I stated, this is going to be no bearing on our tax dollars. I'm going to give it to our finance chair of Flint City Council, Judy Priestley, to talk a little bit about this opportunity for us to be able to help Flint residents where they are.
Good morning. This city has been blessed by the opioid settlement as well as our ARPA dollars. We do have ARPA dollars available for this program. This is not going to affect our tax base or our state revenue. So it should not and will not affect any services to the residents except for providing them food. I can't think of any other way to help the residents. Get our Congress working together. They have to compromise. They must come together and compromise. Right now it's tied up in the Senate. Contact your senators and get them back to work like we did. Thank you.
You often hear me say prayer, planning, and partnership. We pray, we plan, and we look for our partners. Now we have people in the philanthropic and also in the faith-based areas that's going to be helping support this initiative. One of our great pastors here in the city of Flint, and also one of our great leaders in this effort. We're working with his church and his wife. Both are here standing with us today. It will be one of the first churches that's going to be placed in this opportunity for us to step up and help our residents. I'm going to give Pastor Hicks the opportunity. Now, this doesn't mean that we don't have other faith-based organizations or food delivery areas already established inside the city of Flint that we support. But this is going to be a new opportunity because of mobility issues. We thought it'd be best to be able to have the food bank of Eastern Michigan as a site, and also a church on the west side of the city of Flint there as well. And I'm going to give it to Pastor Hicks to talk about what it is, and the Christian Love Faith Center. Pastor Hicks.
Thank you, Mayor. In times like these, we have to look out to help one another. We have to have compassion for one another to see how can I help my brother. Because people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And so we came to the mayor and said, what can we do to help in this crisis? Because to do nothing is not the answer. We have to come out and be willing to come out the four walls and say, what can I do to help my brother and help my sister? And we thank for the mayor for this opportunity to be able to roll up our sleeves and do all that we can to help our brothers and our sisters. Thank you.
As we go through the process, it is scheduled for November 1st, which is tomorrow. We're waiting on more information from the federal government, whether they're going to come to terms and support the American people as they should. The state of Michigan to figure out what resources are going to be made available to these residents. To our Attorney General, who is also engaging in litigation to find out what's going to happen with that. But we're moving into action with a plan, and we'll be ready to move in about 7 days after we figure out what is going on and making sure all the pieces of the puzzle are being placed into engagement. But now we're planning on a voucher system being provided by the city of Flint to be levied for food at the food bank here to support those families that may be in need. At this time, we'll open it up for questions as we talk about this very, very frustrating thing that we are witnessing in America.
Mayor, you said 1 in 3 residents of the city are eligible for SNAP benefits.
1 in 3 are already receiving SNAP benefits. We have a community of about 93,000 people here in the city of Flint, and we're looking at about 31,000 individuals that's currently receiving SNAP benefits here in the city of Flint.
If you, if this program moves forward using ARPA funds and the opioid settlement funds, how long can the city do that before those funds are exhausted? That's a lot of people to be providing food assistance to. Is this something that can last 1 month, 2 months, 4 months, 6 months? How long can this go before the city's funds are consumed?
Well, we're looking at a very robust plan as it relates to this. This is a supplemental, not a full-fledged replacement for those SNAP benefits. So what we're looking at, our vouchers are going to provide a 30-pound box of food for these families up to twice a month. So every other week, we'll provide a new voucher for said families that's in need. Now, this is a subsidy in addition to all the other things that are going on. We still have food distribution centers throughout the city of Flint, in which we have already funded, that everyone is eligible for. But this is only for those individuals that have been negatively impacted by the loss of their SNAP benefits and or displacement as a federal worker. So we have resources. We can go several months before all resources are exhausted, before we have to take another look at it. But we're standing ready to be able to make sure that we can accommodate these families for the short term being, and then we'll reevaluate after a month to see where we are. But hopefully, the responsible thinkers and like-minded thinkers in the federal government will come to their senses to provide for its most vulnerable residents in this country. We say that we're the most powerful country in the world. How powerful can we be if we don't take care of our most vulnerable? And so we want to make sure that we provide all necessary resources to supplement those families that are in need, because this administration here in the city of Flint, a more social-minded administration, that we will step up and provide the necessary help for these families.
And when would this start? You said it's going to be another week. When would that first voucher get approved and people get food? Would that be the 8th, the 15th? When would that be?
Yeah, we're looking at November 8th because we want to see the SNAP benefits comes to an end tomorrow. We want to see what happens with the litigation and whether Congress and the Senate comes back working with the presidential administration to find out if they're going to move, and then we'll work our way into action starting the week of November 8th.
Just so I'm clear, the ARPA dollars and the opioid dollars that are already earmarked for setting aside, do they have to be approved by council as well before this is actually something that we're going to implement, or is this something that can be done straight away?
Well, they have already been appropriated in these categories for giving to these type of social organizations. At some point in time, if it goes for a long period, an extended period of time, we will see resolutions going in front of council. But the fact that we have 3 city council people standing in conjunction with us now, it is a unified effort saying that we will support our residents in this community. And so this is a unified effort. We're standing strong together on the press on the fact that we will support our residents.
Another question from me, you said 30-pound box of food that's being delivered. Is there an approximate price that food bank is giving you? And then, forgot the, anyways, 30-pound box of food, how much is it cost, is it being cost for the city?
Right. Right now, we're moving about $30,000 into action of a combination of opioid settlement funds and American Rescue Plan dollars. And we're going to look at what that looks like. We can buy or purchase a truckload of food for about $1,500, and then we have to pay our suppliers and our distributors a certain amount of dollars for the capacity building and building the boxes. Those dollars, these boxes will not be delivered at this time, but people can go to the food bank once they receive the voucher, then turn the voucher in, and then they will get food and opportunity to receive the supplemental food to supply their family and their needs.
Folks that want to donate monetarily to this cause, are you directing it towards the food bank?
Yeah, it's gonna be many different sources. We're gonna vet that out to figure out what we can do and the most appropriate way to donate that. Because when we see these types of situations, there's gonna be a level of gluttony, fraud, and we're trying to eliminate that as much as possible. So if we want, I know people want to donate monetarily to be able to help support this, but we'll look at the best pathways to be able to do so and making sure that those dollars hit their target, and the target is helping those families that stand in need. Right now, what people need to do is encourage our federal delegation, our federal government, our president's office to be able to provide the resources in which we have for these families that may be in need.
So this arrangement you're trying to do for these boxes out, are you hoping to be able to utilize this in the future as like a kind of SNAP benefits go dry at a future point, a year or 2 years, good to know?
Well, it takes a level of creative thinking and partnership to be able to come together to supply whatever need that is being deemed an emergency. This has been deemed an emergency in our community, especially for those families, the 1 out of 3 families in Flint. So when we look at this, we're going to be using ways and pathways to be able to generate a level of help for those families. This is not a cookie cutter answer where we can step into a formula, but we will develop what we need to be able to support families. And this is what it is. When we come together and talk to Finance Chair Judy Priestley, or Vice President Candace Mashat, or Councilwoman LaShawn Johnson, when we come to the table and says we have a need, what do you think? Finance Chair Judy Priestley says, well, we have these funds available that will not impact the bottom line for taxpaying citizens here inside the city of Flint. Or Vice President Candace Mashat saying, we have to reach out to our faith-based community and maybe see if they want to help be able to distribute or provide a level of opportunity and help. Or LaShawn Johnson, Councilwoman LaShawn Johnson saying, I'm all in, I'm on board for whatever plan that we have, but let's move forward quickly to be able to provide the level of help that's needed. So whatever emergency that we see here inside the city of Flint, we stand ready and willing. Through the opportunity of prayer, planning, and partnership, we will get the job done for residents in the city of Flint.
My question are pretty much answered, but I heard you mention 2 boxes. Are there any specific items that you are accepting, or like dry goods or clean goods and stuff like that, or can you bring other items as well?
Yeah, if people want to donate food, we want them to donate non-perishable items, canned food, boxed food, things that cannot spoil very quickly. We want to make sure we help support people and supply people with their nutritional needs, but we definitely don't want to give them anything bad. So I would ask people not to donate anything that you would not eat. If you would eat it, if you see it on your dinner table or prepared, bring it here to the city of Flint. You don't have to cook it, bring it, and they can prepare it in the way that they need. And we're engaging the most joyous times of our year, Thanksgiving and Christmas. But also it can be the most depressing times of the year if people don't have all the needs that they have. Remember, 500,000 children in the state of Michigan alone that are in poverty, and this pushes them further down when you don't have food to eat. It is a frustrating thing when we know that our nation has everything that they need to provide to help for these families, but because of a political impasse, what I call political pollution, where you take politics over people, should not be accepted. And that's not an America that I serve or want to serve in. We want to make sure that we provide the level of help in this municipal unit of government as we're stating here today.
You mentioned $30,000. Is that the initial commitment you're talking about? And then how long would that, do you expect that would last?
That initial commitment of $30,000 probably will provide more than about 1,000 boxes of food. And so you take 1,000 times 30, you have the poundage necessary. But we definitely want to make sure, as the food bank is finding themselves overwhelmed with calls and issues that they got to supply food, we want to make sure that the city of Flint, and this is real, you know, sometimes uncomfortable conversations are not disrespectful conversation, but it has to be said. This community inside of Genesee County, 33 units of government, we don't want to get underserved as we have generally in the past because we have a poor or blacker community. We want to make sure protein and the meat products and everything are definitely made available to this community as they would be at any other community. And so we're making sure we're monitoring it, and that's why we're stepping into the gap. And so, as I said, sometimes uncomfortable conversations need to be had, but definitely they're not disrespectful conversations. We want to make sure that our families in this community are taken care of just like other families in the rural areas or other communities not so much of color.
And then in terms of people who are seeking help, they don't need to come to City Hall next week. We're going to be evaluating what's happened during the meetings.
Right. As we continue to look at the logistical way that we're going to do this, the most effective and efficient way to be able to do so, they don't need to come next week. But remember, this program that we're designing, as I stated, I'm the mayor of the city of Flint. These are council people from the city of Flint. We are hyper-focused on the city of Flint. Doesn't mean that we don't care about the other communities and our neighbors, but definitely we have a responsibility to the residents of the city of Flint to be able to create the opportunities for them to be able to receive the necessary commodities to sustain their families. And so as we look at the voucher program, they can pick up the vouchers here. Flint resident, already currently receiving SNAP benefits, and or Flint resident that's been disconnected from their job with the federal government can come here to City Hall, to our health navigation system, right here in the front window here, as we build more capacity to answer the phone calls, to be able to pass out these vouchers. A voucher, much like this is not quite it, will be provided. It will be embossed with our city seal. It's harder to counterfeit a city seal embossment. They will take this to the food bank of Eastern Michigan. They will give this. They will take them in and they will let them go grab their commodities and pick their commodities. Or they can take it to Christian Love Faith Center. They will take this and then they will be provided with a box of food. Then they will, 2 weeks, after 2 weeks period of time, they can come back and repeat again until this crisis, and it is a crisis, is over.
And just so I have it straight in my head, the first box of food will be given out next Friday or next Saturday?
We'll be passing out the vouchers. Vouchers.
And then the next, when would that first box go out?
As soon as the vouchers are being distributed, they can take the vouchers at that particular time on that designated day to the food bank at Eastern Michigan, or on that designated day to Christian Love Faith Center.
Okay, so that would be next Friday or next Saturday?
Yes, well, November 8th.
November
Right.
Saturday after next.
Correct.
Depending on how
Right.
it works out with the government.
For people who do qualify, what kind of information do they bring down here when they're trying to get their voucher?
Repeat that, sorry.
For the people who already receive SNAP benefits, like should they bring their card here or identification, or like what should they bring when they receive the voucher?
Yep, great question, and thank you for raising that. They have to bring their valid Flint ID that they're a Flint resident, showing that they're a Flint resident. and also their SNAP benefit card with their name, and the names have to match. It cannot be my uncle's card, my address. It has to be in unison because we definitely want to make sure we provide the level of help for those that are standing in need. And they will be able to make a phone call to area code 810-410-2020 starting next week to be able to get more information about the qualifications. Flint residents already currently receiving SNAP benefits. Displaced federal workers, residents of the city of Flint, those are the ones that we're looking at. Food distribution centers all throughout the city, and we have three we provide resources to. Those food distribution centers still will be open and available on their scheduled days. Those will be open to the general population of who already are going to those particular lines. This is in addition to that. So I want to make it clear because I don't want misinformation to take hold. We know that sometimes people give misinformation in these situations, but we want to make it very clear and concise. We're focusing on helping families in this community that has been disproportionately isolated because of the federal government shutdown. This is a solution that we're providing. This is the first time ever it's been done here in the city of Flint. So we're working our way through it, the logistics of it, but we're actually doing the work. And I'm gonna give it to Vice President Candace Machat. I know she has something pressing.
I didn't. I was just going to say that we know that this will be a big lift for Christian Love Faith Center and also for the food bank. And so as more hands are needed, I know that some of us are willing to make sure that we show up and pack boxes and help hand out boxes as well, that we make sure that we're doing more than just standing behind a podium, that we're going out and helping the residents and helping those who are also going to help residents. But again, I just want to remind you all, as the mayor said, we're taking this first week to see what the federal government and what the president will do. We do know that there are also emergency funding that is set aside for when government shutdowns happen. And so we're hoping that they tap into that emergency funding that is already available for SNAP benefits. But should that not happen, we stand at the ready to serve our community.
Now, those that want to be able to help, like minds, I'm sure Pastor Hicks will be accepting some level of volunteers at his church, and he can tell you how.
Thank you, Mayor. Yes, so we're located at 3202 Flushing Road, 48504, and we are looking for any volunteers that are willing to come in and help prepare boxes, build boxes, and so that we can put the food in those and have them ready for when people come through. We'll have a line outside to where we can just place them in their cars. And also we do have some other events coming up. On the 16th of this month, we were already proactively preparing to feed the community for Thanksgiving. And so if you don't have to be directly impacted or affected, excuse me there.
Volunteers already.
Yeah, volunteer. But you don't have to be directly impacted by it, but if you just like a home cooked meal, we're feeding the community for Thanksgiving on the 16th from 1 till 7. And we're also partnering with MTA. MTA is providing transportation to senior residents to pick them up, bring them over, feed them, and also take them back. So those are the types of things that we've been striving to do in the community to make a difference, because you have to have a compassion for your fellow man.
What if people do want to volunteer? What days and times should they come out?
Matter of fact, as they roll out the information to us, then we can be better prepared to give you the days and the times in which to do that. Okay. Yes.
Mayor, a decade ago, obviously, people in this city lined up online just to get water. Do you foresee similar long lines for people lining up at the churches, at the food bank, just to get food? And what does that mean for the psyche of the people of the city that a decade later we're lining up again for a basic staple that we shouldn't have to line up for and go to churches and food banks for?
Well, definitely, lines are still long in those food distribution lines, and that's why we still have 3 help centers throughout the city of Flint. Lines are still long. But this is another issue. We're still suffering from mental contusions and abrasions about what happened 10 years ago, but this is different. This is about the national government shutting down. We have people with good jobs, air traffic controllers, TSA workers, postal workers, federal government workers who make a good living and a noble career that is now not receiving a paycheck. Many Americans are one paycheck away from disaster. Now these individuals and these families are experiencing that. Why? As I called it, political pollution. When people value politics over people, this happens. This is not the way that we have learned and described the greatest nation on the face of the earth, where the weakest amongst us are left vulnerable because of impasse. Partnership, working together, is one of the keys and tools that we have always talked about in this nation. But definitely this nation should be ashamed of itself because of what's going on now. And so when we talk about what's happening a decade later, we're staying ready and strong as a community. We are Flint strong. And that's why we're stepping up here proactively to engage any space where anybody could be left behind. We will leave no resident behind. And I'll repeat the quote from Coretta Scott King that I have here because it's really fitting for this. The greatness of a community is most accurately measured by the compassionate actions of its members. This is about compassionate actions of its members. We are a great community here in the city of Flint, a proud community, a dedicated community, a strong community. And that's why we say we are Flint strong. Thank you. If there's more questions, we do one-on-ones. Thank you guys. God bless.